Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Kirbside Podcast. I'm your host, Jay Kirby. Tonight, I'm joined by close friend of myself and of the show, and bitter rival in the ring, one of my good friends, Tony Chini. Tony, thank you for joining me.
Thank you again for having me. It's been a long time. It's long overdue. The last time I know it was hot, and I had a good time. We spent a long time on here. We had 1,000 guests come on, and I'm definitely just excited to be back.
It was a blast last time. I wouldn't argue if any of it all happened again. It was a blast. But for the listeners, as always, like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, tap the little bell on your YouTube app so you never miss an upload. Buy the shirts at prowrestlingtees.com. And shout out to our sponsors, Raise Energy at repsports.com and jerky.pro. Use the promo code Kirbside8 at both of those websites for a special little discount. And check out jerky.pro's new Atomic Challenge. It just started this month. I'm terrified of it, but it seems like the rest of the show is going to force me to try it. So please pray for me.
Well, you know what? You can have one for me too, because I know that I won't be doing. I'll tell you that.
Oh, I don't do spicy, but someone on the podcast goes, "Hey, we should totally do a hot challenge." I'm like, "Oh God, okay." Do it for the content. But Tony, we come together tonight because you specifically have been working on a huge project. And I would love to hear all about it. And I think the fans would be even more intrigued if you want to dive into that.
Well, let me dive right into it then. If you guys haven't heard about it already, Virtual Basement is a game developing company, and they're going to be developing a game, or they are developing a game called The Wrestling Code. The Wrestling Code, I mean, it's a great project. I mean, I'm telling you right now, it has shades of No Mercy. And I'm telling you from the inside, like from the developer's point of view, what he wants his game to feel like. No Mercy meets Here Comes the Pain, meets Day of Reckoning, meets all the best games that came out, for the WWE and the wrestling games. Like he wants it all to kind of collide into this mega game. So that's why, he always tells me the story about when he found out about WCW, and he found out about like New Japan and all that, and it was because of the game WCW versus the World. And he didn't even know about he didn't know about any of that until he found that game, and he was like, "Who are these guys?" And he wants that to be his game now of this time, to where people will say, "Oh, this is a wrestling game, but these are real people on here. This is, oh wait, I know Rob Van Dam, I know Diamond Dallas Page, but who's Tony Chini? Who's Luigi Primo? Who's LSG? Who's Shaheem Ali?" You know what I mean? And these are guys that aren't as well known, obviously, as DDP and RVD. They're well known in their own way, and even Grimm. You know what I mean? You could argue not everybody in the wrestling community knows who Grimm is. He has a huge YouTube following, but as far as the wrestling community, they can more dive in to see him now, and it really hits a lot of different communities, which is something that's awesome about the Wrestling Code. Because we have those guys from WCW like Crowbar and Diamond Dallas Page, but then we also have our ECW guys like the Sandman, who beat my ass in the recent tech demo that just came out. If you guys didn't check it out, check it on the Virtual Basement Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, pretty much wherever you type in Virtual Basement, you can see it. But yeah, I mean, we have the Sandman. We're doing stuff for Raven, where we have Raven's theme song. If you guys haven't heard it, it's released. It's phenomenal. It's actually probably my favorite Raven theme song, honestly. And getting to work with Nunzio personally for me was huge, because the FBI is a huge influence on my career. And I mean, there's a lot to it. It's just, there's a lot of different notes in there, because then you get those newer guys. We're having guys from Japan, we're having the guys in the lucha field, even Vampiro, who's well known in lucha libre. He was doing some work with us. PCO ended up doing some work with us. I mean, great great names out there that like some of them haven't even been in video games, or at least haven't been in like, video games in a long time.
Mhm.
Where this is going to open up some really big opportunities for them. So, I mean, I can't say enough good things about it. I mean, like, and I know coming from the inside point that the developer is super passionate about this project, and this is something that it's his first wrestling game ever, but he's been making games for I think 15 years,
Mhm.
and he knows what he's doing. I mean, like, I'll tell you right now, I was in my local video game store, and I was telling the guy about being in a video game and stuff, and obviously, I guess being in that field, he was quick to critique it and say, "Oh yeah, Unreal Engine 5, yeah, I don't know how that's gonna look." I showed him the video, and he looked at it. He looked at me, and he said, "All right, I'm gonna get this game." Because he was that impressed by seeing, like, like the like every detail from every bit, like, thing in the GTS
Mhm.
arena, the banner,
Oh
the
yeah.
the rugged canvases that are like out there, and the lights above. I mean, they got everything, and they really hit the nail on the head. Even I was even kicking virtual sand out of my boots in the promo there. So, I mean, it's just a great project. I'm really happy to be a part of it. Really happy to be able to represent GTS, the first platform to give me an opportunity after training. You know what I mean? They gave me that platform, which was a huge platform. They didn't have to do that. They could have done anything with me, and they decided to let me roll with what I brought to the table, and here we are. And here we are.
And here we are. No, like the so so first off, for the fans, because I did a little bit of research, I'm a professional. Virtual Basement is the same developers that made Ark Survival, which is actually super popular online. Bless you.
Ooh, thank you.
Survival Evolved. Sorry, it was coming to me. I had it. Ark Survival Evolved, which is a really very popular online FPS survival game. Um, which I would compare it, like, the closest thing to is like maybe like a new version of Turok with a little bit of some survival elements in there. So knowing that you got to work with a company like that, I was definitely intrigued. As soon as I heard that you were even in a video game, period, I was intrigued. Um, but when I first heard about it, I was like, okay, I'm interested because unfortunately, I've been playing the same wrestling game for almost 3 years because there hasn't been much variety. Luckily I got to play Retromania, which was a really like classic old school throwback to arcade games, but those No Mercy WCW versus NWO World Tour games, like those were what got me into wrestling games. So having a throwback game to something like that by a proven developer, that's the right way to say it, is phenomenal. And then I saw the graphics. Like, at first I was like, okay, this is going to be really cool, maybe a little bit of an indie game, but I'm going to give it a chance. And then I saw the GTS arena. I was like, my God, that's the arena. That is what the yard looks like.
That
And
that
like,
couch, that brown couch that's in there,
yes.
that was in my living room.
Oh my
That
goodness.
used to be in my living room, and then when I moved, it got moved to the GTS arena, and now it's it's in the
Now it's
game.
in a video game.
It's in the game. It's in the game, and I've had many people crash on that couch. I've had many people have. It's just crazy. It's just crazy to see all the detail that they put into all of it. And, I mean, it's just phenomenal to, like I said, have everything come full circle, and the place that offered me that opportunity
Mm,
to even be where I am, you know what I mean, as a wrestler,
mhm.
and everything, that's where they put me in the game. They could have put me in any arena. They could have
Right.
put me in any arena that they had, but that's where they chose to put me, and I'm honored. And especially having Grim in the game
Yeah.
and still using me for it is just, it's an honor as well. And for Grim to be happy with it and to trust me with that position, uh, honored is this. I mean, I could use it over and over again. I just feel honored.
I mean, you should. I'm not here to blow smoke or puff up anyone's ego, but you should. I mean, like you said, GTS kind of gave you your start. Yeah. Pump up. But GTS gave you your start, and I've seen it. I've seen it from the outside, and I've seen it from in the ring. You have worked extremely, extremely fucking hard to get opportunities like this. I've seen you put together some shady rings just to get on the show, and then I've seen you main event in front of 200-300 people. Like, I have seen where I've seen the progression of Tony Chini, and it is awe-inspiring. You're probably one of the, if I had to say, you're probably one of the hardest workers I've ever met. So, like, everything that you're getting right now, I truly think you deserve.
I really appreciate that, man. I mean, if I can have pride off of anything in wrestling, I don't need to be the WWE champion. I don't need to be, the AEW, whatever. I don't need any of that. Like, I mean, really, the main thing for me is just that I was able to give whatever I can to the business. And like to be able to be a part of such a huge project like the Wrestling Code, I mean, that really just it makes everything feel so worth it. I mean, those dirty rings, that you're talking about, those small locker rooms, if there's a locker room,
if you can call it that.
Yeah,
Legally, it is considered a locker room.
Yeah, changing outside in the front of the venue, nonetheless. Yeah. I mean, I've done it all, and I'll do it all again. And I don't mind because, at the end of the day, professional wrestling gives you so much, and it gives me so much, and it gives the fans so much. And I couldn't be happier. We just had a show. I'll talk about this. LTW just had a show yesterday in Old Bridge, New Jersey. And the show went really well. It was a Carnival of Chaos. And we had a big carnival set up for the entranceway and nice. Popcorn and the authentic popcorn makers and all that. I mean, it was such a great time. And the kids, just had such a wonderful time. And that's what it's all about, like to see them having a great time and having their popcorn all over the place. And, obviously it's not great for the people who have to clean it after, but I don't mind doing that. I don't mind cleaning that popcorn at the end of the day, because the reason that popcorn is on the ground is because a kid was there, so excited, he couldn't control himself, and like, that's so flattering to me. You know what I mean? Like, I had a moment, in the ring where, I guess we could say I was portraying the heel, and so I came in like I was supposed to be the big man, and Ivy Platinum took me out, the big close.
Nice.
And everyone loved it because it's just that moment that you live for, like that, like all those the little girls in the crowd and even the boys, everybody in the crowd got to resonate with her in that moment and got to be with her in that moment. Like I'm trying to act tough and boom, you want to knock that guy down. You know what I mean? You've all had that person that gets in your face and tries to act all tough, and you just want to knock them down. She got to do that for you, and we love to do that, man. I mean, it's very gratifying.
Oh, absolutely. Share my own story. I wrestled this guy once. I don't remember his name. The match was not wonderful by any stretch of the imagination. It was pretty bad, actually. But I worked heel. So I did everything I could to get this guy over and tried my best to get the crowd behind him. And they were kind of feeling it a little bit. And, match ends. I roll out and I'm like, okay, it was a fine match, whatever. I did what I could do. Then like a week later, because I didn't watch this part of the show. I just headed to the back and started getting changed. A week later, I see pictures from the show. And it's this little kid who had gotten in the ring like as soon as our match was over. And the guy was like holding the kid up on his shoulders. And the kid had like one of his props, one of the guy's props like on him. And the look on this kid's face is like he just went to Disney World. And I guess it was the kid's first show, first time ever seeing wrestling. And that moment, that picture, regardless of how good or awful the match was, like that picture made everything worth it. Like it was an amazing freaking time. And to bring that all around, moments that make things worth it happened kind of recently for you, Tony, at the expense of someone on this show. I wonder who it could have been.
That's right.
But let's rewind to September. I've been UWC champion. Yeah, UWC heavyweight champion for almost a year. It was pretty close. It was like 270, 280, something like that. Might have even been closer. And I'm going out there to make these people hate me. And surprisingly, I got really good at it. It kind of caught me off guard how good I could get at riling up a UWC crowd. And Joe Rules tells me that you're going over. And first off, I was shocked. I was like, okay, this is happening. Tony's going over. And so we go out there and you and I, we put on what I would think is a hell of a match, damn fine match. And you hit me with the finish. I can't see anything, literally staring up at the ceiling. And I hear 1, 2, 3, and then a moment of silence, and then just boom, crowd lost their mind that you won the heavyweight title. Like it was so loud, it was deafening. And I don't know if you saw this when I rolled out of the ring. I had a little shit-eating grin on my face. It's like that's what I wanted when I won the heavyweight title. I've told you this in the back, but I don't really tell anyone. I said if I could pick anyone to drop the title to, I want to drop it to Chini. And I didn't think they would I didn't think that's what was going to happen, but I was hoping. And to hear that pop and to hear the crowd lose their mind for you to go over, I was like, yep, that's what I wanted. That moment right there when they lost their minds for you is exactly what I wanted to happen when I lost that title.
Yeah, man. And it was very gratifying to have that moment. Because I was talking about GTS being my home, and that's one home, but my home as far as like independent wrestling and everything, that goes to UWC, because they've always just been there for me, and they've always treated me like family. And I'm not just talking about you guys in the back. I'm talking about even the crowd has treated us like family. They gave us our Christmas tree when we moved into our new house.
That's
I remember
awesome.
they all raffled, for the Christmas tree during the raffle, and they knew that we got in a new house, and Kat was in the raffle for the Christmas tree too, and they won it and gave it to us, and
that's awesome.
And she was crying. It was just such a nice moment to have, and those are and that's what I was talking about before. To build those connections with those people is just it means the world to me. I mean, really, that means more to me than anything. And to have that reaction, like I've watched a lot of shows where at the end of the show, they're doing that big title match, and I know how much it means to that person. And there's those people walking out, and it's sad, and you know what I mean. Like, and sometimes you just don't grasp those people, and to get the reaction that I got from those people, and I know that. I might go 10 miles down the street to a different place and they don't know who the hell I am. But to have the reaction from those people like that meant the world to me. And my family, as you know, were there. I didn't have all my family there, but I had a good amount of my family there. And my uncle was there, who the only time he had ever seen me prior to that was my first match. Against a furious one who was not a very good match. And so for him to see that and then to see what we did all that time later is, like, it's just cool. Like, for him to get to see that moment.
Yeah.
Like, because it's at first, like, I'm sure like everybody, like in my family, my friends, like all my peers, they're shocked when they hear like I'm gonna try to be a wrestler.
Right.
You know what I mean? And it's just shock. It's like, really? Well, I guess guess this is the new club he's joining or the new team. You know what I mean? Like they don't know.
Oh yeah.
They don't know how serious. Like I really take this, and I want this to be my profession, not just this hobby, not this just something that I do sometimes, once a month. Like this is something that I live and breathe, and I was able to prove that to a lot of my family that day when I won that title. And because I don't want to say they doubted me, because my family's supportive, but like I said, drew on back, they were surprised and they didn't understand.
Oh yeah. Oh, you're preaching to the choir on this one, but continue, please.
And for them to not understand it, I mean, I'll say this: it hurt at first because I didn't understand why they couldn't understand, and now I do understand that. But I was able to show them why on that night and on the day that video came out, that tech demo. I mean, I'll show anybody that ever doubts me taking this seriously ever again. I'll say here, well, I want you to take a look at this, and then I want you to talk to me again in 8 minutes and however many seconds, because this is not, playtime for me. This is for real.
Right.
And I love professional wrestling with all my heart. So.
Absolutely. No, I get that 100%, I've told you the story and I've probably said it on here a couple times, but like when I started, my parents looked at me and they're like, "Oh, he's doing this thing." Dad, I don't think he ever like got it, but he was like, "You're an adult," because I think I started training at 19. He's like, "You're an adult. You can make your own decisions. Just try to be safe and whatever you're gonna do." And then mom was like, "That's really dumb. I think she said it was childish and a waste of your time." Here we are almost 11 years later. And mom is dying to see me wrestle because she's never seen me as a heel. She's never seen me rile up a crowd before. She's seen me. They've gone to a couple of my shows, which was really big for me, and it really hit home when I got to see them in the crowd cheering for me. But like to know that they actually not only okay, we're gonna go to this thing to support them. No, they like want to go. They're dying to see me as this, arrogant asshole who deserves to get his ass kicked. So like to see the progression of that, like I get it and 1,000% understand exactly where you're coming from. But like it's definitely a moment to be like, okay, that they even if they don't get it, like if they're never going to be fans, they at least support it and they at least are there for it. And bro, to quote, the Cody Rhodes, you went from you went from nothing. You went from just this kid who showed up at a warehouse with like only one person's name to get you in that door to ungoddamn deniable. You are a video game character, bro. Do you like go back even 5 years, 10 years and tell yourself I'm gonna be in a video game? That's amazing.
It's crazy, man. I mean, like I'm not much of a video gamer, but wrestling video games I absolutely love, and trying to get into like some other video games lately, just to, like because I want to know how the mechanics of things work a little bit more. I've been interested in that, but besides that, I've been super into wrestling video games. I mean, I honestly, for those of you who don't know, I have like almost all the collector's editions for the SmackDown versus Raw and the WWE games, the 2K games. Like, like I have all that stuff. I have Japanese PlayStation 2 wrestling games. I have a Japanese PlayStation 2 just to play those games. I literally I have a bunch of game systems just to play these wrestling games. You know what I mean? Because I love them that much. And to now be able to have one that I don't have to go into the creation suite and spend 3 hours listening to the soundtrack that I probably hate.
Yep.
now I'm gonna listen to a good soundtrack on the Wrestling Code because we got some good songs on there coming.
Nice.
I get to, I mean, even if I do want to create people, the creation suite, I mean, they haven't done much with it yet because they're working so much on other stuff, but they have so many ideas that, like, I mean, I just can't wait to see what they do. And I don't even have to, like, if I just want, I can buy the game, go home, plug it in, press singles, go to create, like, like character selection.
Yep, go to the roster.
There I am.
There you fucking are.
I can't believe it. Like I know that that was a long explanation, but
no,
I mean,
like
it's just incredible to think about sometimes. It really is because I remember when I rented SmackDown Here Comes the Pain for the first time, and that was the first time I ever played a WWE game, and I was like kind of getting into WWE at the time. But like I remember being like, oh well, this is probably gonna be stupid on a PlayStation. I'll try it though. And man, I was so upset when I had to return it because it's a rental at the time. I'm talking back in the Blockbuster days.
Back in the days.
Yeah, so like Hollywood Video, like I'm going up in there and renting this, and I had to return it. And I just remember, and I didn't want to return it so bad. Like I wanted to, because I remember we had a couple movies that like we didn't return, so then we had to own it and like buy it out.
Yep.
And I was please just please just don't return it. And then we returned it, and I got it for Christmas or whatever, my birthday. I think it was Christmas, and man, I mean, you couldn't get me off of it. And
been there.
I still play SmackDown Here Comes the Pain. You know what I mean? It's just such a good game that holds up. And we want our game to be that next game where, that was, man, a long time ago now, almost 20 years ago that I was playing SmackDown Here Comes the Pain. And yeah, I know it hurts. But
sorry. Don't mind me just getting old as you say that out loud.
Yeah.
Because Here Comes the Pain was one of the first WWE games that I remember, because that's about the time when I got back into wrestling, about 03, 04, and that was the first game. And I was just like, oh my goodness, 20 years. But yeah. You 20. Sorry, that caught me off guard. But no, you are
came out and and it still holds up. So we want our game in 20 years. We want people to plug in the old PS5 or the old Xbox X series or whatever the hell it's called these days. And we want people to be like, yo, I gotta play the Wrestling Code, man. Like this game sucks. This AEW 2K40 sucks. And I want to play the Wrestling Code. You know what I mean? Like that's what I want.
You're gonna be on someone's trivia one day. What is the first video game appearance of WWE Hall of Famer Tony Chini? I know this one. That's the Wrestling Code in 2022.
Yeah. The rib is it's gonna be me answering it.
Right. That's gonna be Kat's Who Wants to Be a Millionaire question to win the big one.
Can I phone a friend?
I was mid-simp, you asshole.
Fun fact, my sister was actually the first person in a wheelchair to enter the hot seat on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire.
Really?
Yes.
Did not know that.
They had to build a ramp for her.
Huh. Interesting. I did not know that. And that's a fun fact that I'll probably never forget now.
Yeah. She ended up getting 16,000 out of it.
Nice. Very nice.
Yeah. Not bad. It's not a bad haul. It's
not at all.
Not a bad haul at all. I mean, she was lucky. I mean, she was smart enough to, whenever, I forget what question she got held up on, but whenever she got held up on it, instead of guessing, she said, I'm going to take my money and run.
Smart. Very smart.
And taxes probably took a lot of that money and ran too.
But no, just I'll say this and then I'll ask you a couple more questions about the game. But like I remember a couple years back when you started doing the motion cap stuff for it. Like I knew the game was coming and I knew that the game could be something. But like I didn't think anything would come of it for you. I thought you were going to be, enhancement. I thought you were going to be the green dude that does all the moves, and that was it. And I could say, hey, my buddy did the motion capture for that. And then a month ago, I'm scrolling through Facebook and I see this post and I see you in a video game. Like it wasn't the motion capture, it wasn't the hidden character. It was Tony Chini in a video game, and I lost my mind. Like, that was amazing. But
You want to know what that comes down to, and I hate to say it, but I'm just gonna shoot. I'm just gonna shoot from the hip right now.
Go for it.
It comes down to me making myself available. It comes down to me making myself reliable, and it comes down to me being there, and it comes down to me wanting it. And it's just no offense to anybody else out there, but I wasn't. I mean, at first, I was literally just a guy that his buddy Grim got on the game, so I'm going to share this game because my friend is on this.
Right.
Somebody who supported me is on this, so I'm going to support this project. So I started following. So I started retweeting it. Of course, in the back of my mind, always, man, it'd be cool if I was in this game. But I never ever was like. But I never said, "Oh man, well I should be in this game." I was never like that. Right. I just kept sharing, and then eventually they caught on to me sharing, and then they followed me. Oh, that's cool. That's cool. They followed me. That's the first step. Then one day I post a clip from GTS on my Twitter, and then they messaged me, "Hey man, cool clip. Keep it up." Okay, making progression. Okay, cool. That's cool. So then maybe now sometimes we talk here and there. Oh, look, check this out. They'll send me a screenshot of a new character or whatever, and it's like, oh, this is awesome. And now we're just we become buddies.
Right.
Just talk a bit, and it was just I kept sharing, and that's why he got to talking to me anyway, because he saw that I was interested in his product. So that's how we got to talking anyway, because I expressed interest in the product.
Right.
And like it even comes down to it, like even like like I'm not just saying in the game, but even like a lot of wrestlers, it seems they're not even interested in the product that they're in. Like they don't share it, they don't share the posters, they don't share the event, they don't share the game. You know what I mean? And it's like how are we supposed to make so and so who signed on the game a year ago but hasn't contacted since? How are they going to be displayed in this when I'm the one that literally every single month is flying out to here, flying out to there. I'm flying out to San Jose, California in a week. I mean, like just going everywhere for this game. And I hate to say it, but again, who else but me to be in this tech demo? Because I'm literally the one that's there seeing how it's all being constructed and put together. I'm the one, not the only one, but one of the main people that's there putting my 2 cents in from a worker's standpoint. Because the developers, love wrestling, but they're not, wrestlers, and they're
not like in the business.
And at first, I'll tell you this, we kind of had like a little bit of what's the word I'm looking for? Kind of like a bump in the road, almost like just some sort of like a disconnection. That's the word I'm looking for. Disconnection between like the developer would try to explain a certain thing to me, doing motion capture, or a wrestler doing the motion capture, and it wouldn't resonate because it's kind of being like talked in like a gamer talk, if you will,
right.
And now, like, we kind of figured out like a process where he can kind of relay to me, hey, like, this is what I need. And I can kind of turn it into like, now I talk to Rob Van Dam or Kurt Angle and say, hey, this is what we need. It's this is the scenario. Let's just say you're about to lock up. Let's just say you're in the locker room, nobody's around. Let's just say, you know what I mean? Like I could give him different scenarios. That's going to make a lot more sense than, your idle positioning.
Right.
Or,
they're not going to know what that is.
Yeah, and it's not on them. It's just not common knowledge to wrestlers, and it's not common knowledge to me either. I'm learning this stuff, and I'm just trying to now translate it, and it's cool to have that. You know what I mean? It's cool to have that job, and like really like the to go backwards. What I was saying like about making myself available. Eventually, they contacted me about putting me in the game, which was awesome. And then when they said they were coming out and do their first motion capture session, it was in New Jersey. Nice. So they were supposed to do me, Luigi Primo was going to be flying out for like another show, so he was going to be doing his. Anthony Green was going to be in the area, so he was going to be doing his. And Sean Donovan was supposed to be doing his. And then
Nice.
Sean Donovan couldn't make it for whatever reason. But they were talking to me, and they were just kind of telling me, like, they were like, hey, this is like our first session, so we don't know exactly like how we're going to structure things yet, but we're going to try to this and that, whatever. And I was like, so who's taking my moves? And then they were like, well, we actually never thought about that. We didn't, like we didn't know. We just didn't think about that because we were thinking about everything else, which is understandable.
Right.
So I was like, well, what I could do is I'll bring somebody I brought Zach Ruby with me. I said I could bring somebody to take my moves. He's not going to be available all weekend, but I will. So I'll stick around for Luigi Primo, Sean Donovan, Anthony Green, and I'll take their moves. So like I said, Sean Donovan didn't show up, but I ended up taking moves from Luigi Primo and Anthony Green. And things were going well, and we kept talking, and I told him that I would be willing to do more. And that's where it led to Rob Van Dam. And I mean, that was just surreal the first time getting to do that.
Oh,
and the moment, like the coolest moment for me when I get in the ring with these guys is like, we do kind of like a thing. I like to call it an exercise because it really is exercising, but it's really, it's the motion capture. It's not even an exercise, but I like to call it an exercise because but anyway, we were doing an exercise where like, kind of like, they have to target me. Like I'm in the middle of the ring and they have to they're moving and they're targeted onto somebody. Right. So there's movement in the game where you're not targeted onto somebody. You're just walking free form. And now you have so now that's really intense for me because I'm in the middle of the ring and you have Rob Van Dam or Diamond Dallas Page or Kurt Angle circling you. And you have Rob Van Dam doing the kicks, you know what I mean? Like doing all that and like them all into it and then like doing all this stuff and it's just really, and then you got DDP stepping back doing this that and it's like whoa, like it really gets you going to see them, like because you talk to them before that and they're just they're a normal person and they're all great people. Honestly, the people that I've talked about, I'm saying this much straight up, a lot of the people that we've worked with, most of the people that we've worked with the Wrestling Code and anybody that I've mentioned up to this point have been wonderful to work with. And that's also great, because they say don't meet your heroes. But like, I mean, honestly, I couldn't be happier with my experiences with Rob or Kurt or anybody. I mean, it's just, they've been nothing but professional and they've taken time to sit down with me and talk to me about things. And like, it's just really cool. It also helps me to see how they work with somebody in the ring. Cause that to me, like that in my expectations is, okay, well, this is how somebody's going to work with somebody, on a higher level, and that's where I want to be at that higher level. So to put myself there, to be in the ring with those people that are on that higher level, to get that knowledge, to get that firsthand experience, to see how much, I mean, this you would understand this more than like just like a fan or something, I guess, but like to see the fork which Kurt Angle grabbed me for that angle slam, to see how like he actually really pivoted into it. Like it's not just me doing a jump. I mean, no, he like if I had not jumped or helped him,
you were going.
It would not matter. It would not have mattered in the least bit. He is an Olympic gold medalist for a reason. I mean, he has strength, he has ability, he still has a lot of speed. I mean, like I'll say, like he just recently had knee surgery, and when we did the motion capture with him, it was before his knee surgery, and his knee wasn't feeling 100%, but he was still good to do, the things that we needed him to do. But you would think with his knee, he would slow things down, which he was going at his pace. But let me tell you something. There's a point where we were doing the thing where he's locking into my eyes, and he's locked onto me. And what the developer was trying to tell him, okay, so walk behind him and act like you're locked on behind him. But the word choice that he used was go behind him. and if you tell that,
he's going to go behind you and you're going to be.
Yeah, if you tell that to an Olympic gold medalist, you're going to end up in a waist lock in 0.2 seconds is what I learned.
End up in a waist lock in the air. Just, oh, man, here we go.
He said, the developer said that my legs are in the air and he's yelling, cut because he doesn't know what's going to happen to me. And that's a true story.
That's beautiful.
It's just like, I mean, it's crazy to see
Yeah.
like how intense, these people, like these people are, and the intensity that they bring. And it really makes me as a performer want to be that guy, to be that intense, to have that presence, that like when DDP walks into a room, like it's like everybody, like they could be doing something and DDP walks in the room
I'm just
and now it's eyes on him, because it's like that guy's somebody,
right.
you know, got that walk, he's got that look, that presence. Another fun fact for you: the flea market that I sell at, actually, DDP's mom sells there too.
Oh,
Yeah,
nice.
she bought a DDP action figure from me one time.
Huh. You figured she'd have all of them already, but
Yeah, yeah, you'd think, but she was like, "Oh yeah, best page."
right.
Yeah, she's a nice lady.
No, man, but no, now my brain's just rolling of thinking of all the talent that you've brought up. And because I'd say I've met everyone outside of the big names. So I've met Sean Donovan, I've met Anthony Green, I've met LSG and Shaheem Ali. Um, I don't think I've met Luigi yet. I
Yeah,
was rooting for you against him, by the way, delivery boy versus
uh,
pizza guy.
yeah, man.
But I don't think I've actually met Luigi in person. But like all of these dudes are super, super talented, and it's really cool to see because I've been noticing this recently with Max Caster being AW Tag Champion right now. We've met him and we've known him from back in the day when he was on GTS, just trying to get noticed. And now he's a tag champion on, probably the second biggest company in the country. So, like, seeing that is just kind of awe inspiring, and seeing all these really talented guys, Sean Donovan, LSG, Ali, like all these guys getting chances to be in a game and getting that spotlight is just awesome. Just
Definitely. Definitely. And even those older names that haven't ever been in a game or haven't been in a game in many years. I
right.
mean, like, just that's just going to be such a cool experience as a fan, not somebody on the inside, not somebody who's helping with the game, not somebody as a wrestler, as a wrestling fan, as a wrestling game fan. I'm truly excited to have, like, like a bunch of members of the FBI in the game.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, outside of the ECW games, I don't think that Nunzio ever made it into any of the WWE games, and that always bothered me because obviously I'm a huge fan of Nunzio, and
Mhm.
I mean, like, he was one of the greatest, like, cruiserweights in
Oh,
my
yeah.
opinion. Like
Super talented.
during that like 2003, 4, 5 cruiserweight division, he was one
Mhm.
of the best ones because he had that. He wasn't like all about the flips and the moves and the masks, but he had something else. He brought something else to the table. He was clever. He was crafty, and
Mhm.
I like to do that myself, which, I draw a lot of inspiration from him. And to finally see him get that spotlight that he deserves is great.
Oh, absolutely.
Even Crowbar is another guy that's been doing it out there for years and still doing it on a high level, wrestling great names and having great matches still to this day. Finally gets that platform and gets to do his own motion capture and show everybody who he is. And then we have Vampiro, who came out and he did his own motion capture. And Vampiro, I mean, he is passionate about having his fans have the real Vampiro in this game. Yeah, I mean, I told him like that, and I hope he doesn't mind me telling this story, but I'll tell. Like, he
Well,
was
if he
telling.
doesn't like it, he can come on the show and tell me his side.
Oh my god, yeah. Well, he was going to do his corkscrew moonsault from the top rope, and the padding we had, it was there, but it's still a pretty stiff ring, and it's not going to
Mhm.
feel pleasant. And he was telling me, he's like, I don't do this all the time anymore. Like, after this, I just have one in me. Like,
Mhm.
and sorry, my thing went off.
Oh, you're
But
good.
what's it called? I only have one in me, and then, like it's really like that's gonna be it for me. I can't do any more of these.
Mhm.
So I need to make sure that this gets recorded, because sometimes, like, the like, you have to re-record things because
Oh,
of
yeah,
like a
yeah.
falls off or whatever. And he wanted to do this moonsault as a whole sequence. So he wanted to get up from the moonsault, feet up into a clothesline, do an inside out bump, do a whole big thing.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, I could only do this once. So we need to get it right, which is a lot of pressure on me.
Right. No pressure at all.
But I told him, I said, like really, like honestly, if you feel that way, I can go up and I'll do that corkscrew moonsault for you, because it's a move that I can do with a crash pad there. I wouldn't trust myself. I wouldn't really pull that off in a match, but I can definitely do a crash pad there. I could do it for him. So I offered that to him, and he said that he appreciated that, but he wanted to make sure that the fans got Vampiro up on that top rope doing that moonsault. And that really, to me, that resonated, because like he knows that it's going to cause him that pain, that it's not going to feel great to land on the ground like that at his age, at how many times he's done it on the concrete, probably, back in the day. I mean, like, he's been through a lot.
Oh yeah.
And he's willing to do that, not just for the fans, but for this game, because he believes in this game this much, because he believes that people are going to get the real Vampiro out of him. And we had a talk with Rob Van Dam the last time, and we really got him to realize how much the fans are going to get him in this game. And once we really got him hyped on that, he started thinking of ideas. Oh, why don't we do the monkey flip? Why don't we do this? Why don't we do that? And that's cool to see people get excited to see, they want the real me. Oh, I'll give them the real me. Now Van Dam's in the building. You know what I mean? Like, that's cool, man. And like, it really gets you hyped up to work with these guys and see them get hyped up. Like, even like some of the guys like that aren't as big of names but still out there, like Marco Stunt or Zicky Dice, or like I mentioned before, Shaheem Ali and LSG and Luigi Primo, and like all those guys that are getting the spotlight, like you said, like they deserve this. And years later, like I said, 20 years from now, somebody might pick up that game for the very first time and learn about us for the very first time because of this game.
Yeah. Well, I look at it like this, because my mind's always working on stuff like this. It's always trying to get more people to watch, whether that be watch me or whether that be watch what I'm interested in. So like, I can give you a great example where if I go to work tomorrow and I say, hey, this wrestling game has all these great people in it, I'm gonna tell these guys at work who's in it, and they're not going to know who Sean Donovan is. They're not going to know who Luigi Primo. Well, they might know who Luigi Primo is. That man's been getting some spotlight recently, but like, they're not going to know LSG, Shaheem. They're not going to know Marco Stunt. But if I tell them, hey, this game's got Kurt Angle and Rob Van Dam in it, they'd be like, hey, I know those names. I remember watching RVD and ECW. I remember the Rob Van Dam. So they might buy it off that one person, and then when they pop it in, they'll be like, "Oh, who's this Marco Stunt guy? Oh, that's kind of cool. Who's this Tony Chini guy? I like that design. Who's Sean Donovan? Who's these people?" And get exposed to wrestlers that, and because it's pretty new, like all these guys are still active and they can get that platform and they can get that spotlight. So something like that is just amazing.
It's just great, because I got to get going probably after this, but I want to say one more thing. Like,
no, please.
I really want to make sure that I get this over, that, and I said it before, but we're trying to make sure that everybody possibly, unless told otherwise or given permission, or if we can't, we are making sure that they get to do their own motion capture, because we want to make sure that this is the most genuine thing. And I'm talking everybody. And one thing that I really want to talk about before I go is that Zach Gowen, if you guys don't know who he is a wrestler who was in the WWE in 2003, and he has one leg, and he wrestles without a prosthetic on. He wrestles with one leg. And he does moonsaults off the top rope. He does springboards. And he can still do it to today. I mean, he's in great shape, and he has 4 kids, and a lovely wife, and he still trains, and he's one of the most sought after public speakers right now in the country. And he's just such a great guy. And for him to be able to finally be in a video game, because they didn't have the technology to put him in SmackDown Here Comes the Pain, and that's why he wasn't in it. But for us to be able to do that, and for him to be able to put on that motion capture suit, and for us to have to work around, well, how are we going to get both sensors if we don't have, we don't have that other leg? What are we going to do? We had to take both sensors, put it on his one leg. We had to see if that works. We had to try trial and error, and it was a lot. But he was there, and he was working it, and he was putting his all into it. He's there. He's jumping up. He's doing drop kicks. I mean, moonsaults, standing moonsaults, even. I mean, like, it's so impressive to see him do what he does. And I mean, I have respect for everybody in this game, but if I have respect for anybody, Zach Gowen is really truly one of a kind, all around human being. And I just want to I want everybody to realize that he told me a story, and I'll end it with this. He told me a story that his on Call of Duty. I don't really know much about this. Maybe on Call of Duty, they maybe in the recent maybe last year or so, they put out a character that had an amputated leg or something like that, something along those lines. And he heard about it and he thought it was cool and everything, But then his kid got the game and his kid got the character and he saw it on the screen. And he had a tear in his eye because he truly realized, well, this character is not just a character. This character is representing me, this game. And I told him, I said, now think about this. You're that guy that somebody's going to turn on that game and have a tear in their eye because you did that motion capture by yourself. They don't have to hire somebody else to do your work. And that's the same thing now for other video games where they want to feature people with disabilities, or even in movies where they want to feature people with disabilities. You don't have to use somebody that is not disabled to play that character if they are able to do it. It's called a disability, but they're able to do more than you think. And someone like Zach Gowen is such an inspiration to me. And like I mentioned earlier, my sister was the first person in a wheelchair to be on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. She is a paraplegic, so she's paralyzed from the waist down. But she's been in a movie with Joaquin Phoenix and Jack Black. Or she's been on. She was in a reoccurring segment with Weird Al Yankovic on Comedy Bang.
That's awesome.
She, like I said, she was on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. She's been on TV. I mean, she's done all of it. She's interviewed celebrities. Nothing holds her back. And she's one of my sisters, one of my inspirations in my life. And I always kind of saw Zach Gowen as that. I always kind of put him and my sister together in that category of my sister goes out there and she does anything that she wants. Zach Gowen is the wrestling version of my sister, where they have two different disabilities, but he doesn't let his disability hold him back, just like my sister. And he does what I want to do. So where's the excuse for me? That really influenced me to become a professional wrestler. And for that to come full circle, for me to get to work with him in the ring on this game, to make history, to have him in this game, that means everything to me. And I just wanted to make sure I said that. And, if Zach Gowen ever listens to this, or I mean, seriously, just thank you so much, Zach, for that experience, because such a kind guy, always offered his ear to me, always was just super kind, super nice. We got to work together twice, two separate trips. So a couple days on each trip, but he's just a great guy, and I'd work with him anytime. But I mean, on that note, my phone battery is getting low. Part of the reason why I'm trying to wrap it up, and I do apologize.
No, you're good.
I really appreciate you having me on, dude. I really appreciate you. Also, I just want to say this before I go. I really appreciate you giving me the moment at UWC that I was talking about earlier.
Absolutely.
With my family, because that meant the world to me as well, and that meant the world to my family to see that. And for you to be a part of that is also another full circle moment, because you were there for my first day at GTS. And now you were there for that title win. And now you're here talking to me about GTS on the video game. So, just full circle all around. And I really appreciate you, man. I love you.
No, love you too, Chini. You're amazing. Thank you for coming on. Before we go, I'll try to make this as quick as possible. You said you're flying out to California coming up here soon. Who are some if you can share, if you can't, you can tell me. You can say no. Who are a couple upcoming people that you may be doing some mocap with, so we can plug them a little bit, be like, hey, guess who's coming to the game?
I don't think I'll be able to say much about that right now.
All
but
right, then.
What I will say is that the person that we are working with was previously announced.
Okay.
And the person that we are going to be working with, this is huge.
Okay.
I'm just going to leave it at that.
All right. Well, I might have to do some research myself to look through previous announcements, but
I mean nationwide.
Oh yeah.
I mean worldwide. I mean this is huge.
Well, color me intrigued. But
yeah.
Chini, thank you for coming on. Thank you for talking with me. I'm excited for this game now. Like, I was literally playing my Xbox. I was playing 2K19 before we got on here. And I'm probably going to go right back to it, to be quite honest with you. So, like,
I just picked up Smash Bros. 2006 at the flea market today.
Oh, that game.
Oh, yeah.
My favorite TikTok trend is everyone rating like games in a row. And it's just this guy. He looks like if Zach had longer hair, and it's just him going like, that's the only part of the clip that like I laugh every time, because that's my reaction when I see that game. Just
hell yeah.
But thank you, Tony, for coming on. Thank you for speaking with me. Ladies and gentlemen, check out Tony Chini all over social media, Facebook, Twitter,
Instagram at Tony Chini 96, Facebook.com/Tony Chini stub your toe. Go on ProWrestlingTees.com/Tony Chini. You can pick up this
shirts.
Right here. You can pick up all the shirts. I have so many cool designs. Obviously, go follow Virtual Basement on everything, on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Check out for updates. If you haven't already, please go on YouTube, go on Twitter, whatever. Watch the video, watch the tech demo. Check out the first bit of gameplay for the Wrestling Code. And if you guys aren't following the Wrestling Code already, I don't know what you're doing, because this is going to be the best wrestling game that has come out in the last 20 years, and I guarantee you.
Hell yeah. You know what? I'm checking it right now, because I already followed Virtual Basement. I need to see if I follow the Wrestling Code, because I'm about to do that.
The Virtual Basement is just, it's that's where you see everything. There is no Wrestling Code, Twitter or Instagram as of now. It's all Virtual
As of
Basement.
yet. Soon, maybe. Fingers crossed. But Chini, thank you for coming on. I greatly appreciate it. I'm glad that I could give you this platform to talk about an awesome project that I'm super excited for, and I'm going to go tell everybody about. And for the fans, thank you for joining us. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. As always, like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, tap the little bell on your YouTube app so you never miss an upload. Buy the shirts at ProWrestlingTees.com, and we'll see you guys next time.
Go stub your toe.